Swamin namaste natalokabandho karunya sindho patitam bhavabdhau mamuddharatmiya kataksha drishtya rijvyati karunya sudhabhivrishtya. Swamin namaste, Swamin namaste, Swamin namaste, Swamin namaste. Jnanasvarupam nijabhavayuktam Anandamanandakaram prasannam Yogindramidhyam Bhavarogavadyam Srimadgurum Nityamaham Namami Srimadgurum Nityamaham Namami. Nityaya Satyaya Chidatmakaya Navyaya Bhavyaya Paratparaya Shuddhaya Buddhaya Niranjanaya Namostu Nityam Guru Shekaraya Namostu Nityam Guru Shekaraya Namostu Nityam Guru Shekaraya. Jai Guru, Jai Guru, Jai Guru. Actually, to even utter the word Sattva Guna, I think if we utter it with a lot of fondness, trying to understand the meaning of it, it will give us a lot of purity. Sattva Guna. And yes, last time, we have been taking up some verses from Sarva, Vedanta, Siddhanta, Sara, Sangrahah. And then I compared with Bhagavad Gita also. And we found that for any seeker to progress in the path of sadhana, if a seeker is sincere, wants to progress, then it is absolutely essential, indispensable to grow in Sattva Guna. So naturally, we'll have to understand what all we have to do. The Rajo Guna, which makes us constantly be active, constantly, thinking and acting, and the Tamo Guna, which brings about lethargy, then delusion, ignorance, all these things. Subduing those, we have to grow in that quality of Sattva Guna, where the mind becomes more and more pure. All the tendencies which agitate our mind, all those are removed slowly. And ultimately, we also constantly remove the desires, possessiveness, and ego from the mind, so that the mind becomes placid. And when the mind becomes placid, the self reveals itself. So this Sattva Guna, when it arises, how do we understand that we are progressing in Sattva Guna, or the qualities of the Sattva? So the qualities of the Sattva have been described, that when one grows in Sattva Guna, all the senses, the mind, intelligence, everything becomes brilliant, radiant, and it becomes transparent, pure, so that we are able to understand very subtle matters. And what happens immediately is the buddhi, which becomes very transparent and pure. The viveka arises there. The buddhi is able to discriminate between what is wrong, what is right, what is good, what is bad, what is permanent, what is impermanent, what is good for the sadhana and what is not. So all these things happen. So these things we had discussed last time, and we did this sloka from Sarva Vedanta Siddhanta Sara Sangrahah, which says, Tato mumukshur bhava bandha muktiyai rajastamobhyam cha tadiya karyehi viyojya chittam parishuddha sattvam priyam prayatnena sadaiva kuryat. It says that when there's a seeker, if the seeker wants liberation from the worldliness, and how does the liberation, what is liberation? We have described liberation in many ways, and we know that unaffectedness is liberation. Liberation from the shackles of the mind and intelligence. Whatever happens, so many situations will be there, so many events will take place in one's life. So in everything, while one is in that situation, in this life, one will not be affected. So we want freedom from that bondage which makes our mind agitated, and that freedom brings about placidity of the mind. Now this shloka is saying that the seeker of liberation, a seeker who wants liberation or freedom from the bondage of worldliness, should alien oneself from what? The effects of Rajoguna and Tamoguna. We all know that all our actions, our life is the mixture of the three gunas, Sattva, Rajas and Tamas. So to increase Sattva guna, we have to reduce the effects of Rajoguna and Tamoguna. How? When slowly the Sattva rises or gets developed, the Viveka arises, and we are able to understand, looking at the Lakshanas, that these are the things or these are the situations when I am being overpowered by Rajoguna, say by desire, by possessiveness, by clinging, etc., and Tamoguna, by sleepiness, lethargy, etc. So, from our nature, we try to remove them. So, tato mumukshur bhava bandha muktya. So, we have to constantly look into ourselves and find out what are the traits in us and the tendencies in us which are affected by this Rajoguna and Tamoguna, and about whom this shloka is being said. Tato mumukshuhu. Mumukshuhu means what? A seeker. A seeker who wants liberation. See, there are many people who do not know any kind of spirituality. They do not know these things. So for them, whatever comes, they just suffer it. But once one has known this knowledge, that by knowing the self, one will be able to transcend all miseries, all sufferings. One will be able to remain unaffected in life, will have permanent peace, happiness, contentment, fearlessness, etc. One must try to attain that state. So that is what we had been doing last time, where Shankaracharya says that tan manashodhanam karyam prayatnena mumukshuna. Who is a mumukshu? A mumukshu is one who wants liberation from the shackles of the mind and intelligence. So, now this word mumukshu, before we proceed with what is this Sattva guna and how to develop Sattva guna, we will definitely go step by step. We must also understand who is a mumukshu. Now, we are, all of you, my dear children, all of you who are listening to these lectures, you are interested in spirituality. You are seekers, and you must be pursuing your spirituality also. you are having an aim to know more and more about what is spirituality, how to proceed and how to progress in this path. And you must be having your spiritual pursuits. Now, who is this mumukshu about whom our shastras are saying? And what kind of mumuksha is there? This mumuksha is, see, Viveka Chudamani says that swaswarupavabodhena moktumicha mumukshuta. That is, that person is called a mumukshu who has the desire for mukti. Mukti from what? Liberation. Liberation from what? From the shackles or bondage of the mind and intelligence. All the tendencies of the mind and intelligence agitate us to be free from that, so that the mind and intelligence, they attain a placid state, tranquil and calm state. And what is that? Swaswarupavabodhena. So, knowing or attaining self-knowledge, the ichha to attain, or the desire or aspiration to attain the self, to know the self. A seeker or a person who has this kind of an aspiration that I must know myself, my swarupa, my real identity. What is our real identity? I am the self, the changeless, imperishable, eternal self. By mistake, we consider this body-mind intelligence as the self or the I, mistakenly. And we feel that this body-mind intelligence, this is the I. Whereas the I or the self is changeless. This changeful body, mind and intelligence we consider to be the I. So this is the ignorance. Now, one who feels that I must get rid of or I must be liberated from the shackles of the mind and the intelligence, its tendencies, and ultimately to know who am I, swaswarupa ababodhena, that kind of a person is called a mumukshu. Now this mumukshuta, it is called mumukshuta. All of you know this. So this mumukshuta, Shankaracharya is saying, it can be of various kinds. Whether the desire to liberation, desire for liberation, how intense it is. It may be of various categories, various degrees. So, according to the intensity of yearning, how much you are yearning, how much you are giving value to this pursuit, whether this pursuit is only a part-time, for a little while you are reading, listening, or maybe contemplating, or maybe meditating, and rest of the time you are in worldliness. Are you like that? Or have you taken the whole pursuit in your life so that your every action, every thought, every speech, every interaction revolves around this spirituality? And you are constantly, in spite of remaining in the world, doing all worldly acts, your aspiration is to make everything divine, everything spiritual, so that through everything you come to know that I am the self and everything else is the same self. This knowledge. We may be doing everything. We have got our duties and responsibilities, but through everything, whether we like the work that we do, whether we do not like the work that we do, whether situations are favorable or unfavorable in our lives, through everything, our aim remains, how will I find the same self, the same presence, the same consciousness everywhere? In this plurality, how will I know that one presence? So whether the mind is really intensely thinking about that. So it doesn't happen. All are not like that. So Shankaracharya has said that according to the intensity of mumuksha, it can be called intense, tivra, or it can be called madhyama, that is mediocre. It can be called manda, a little bad, or atimanda, that is very bad. So let us see what he says. This is from Sarva Vedanta Siddhanta Sara Sangrahah. While reading the book, I came upon these slokas. I thought that it would be nice to share with you. It says, Tapastribhirnityamanekarupaihi santapyamana kshubitantaratma parigraham sarvamanartha buddhya jahati sa tivratara mumuksha. He says that mumuksha can be called tivratara mumuksha. Now, when I read this, all of you should assess yourself. I always say that this reading and listening should not be just because of that. That when you listen something very good, so you are hearing something new, so you get a joy. No. Any spiritual seeker, you will become slowly sincere, and your moksha also will become intense when through everything you compare with your status. Where am I? How is my moksha? Am I like this? So, what is tivratara moksha? Aneka rupai tapasribhirnityam aneka rupai santapyamana kshubitantaratma parigraham sarvamanartha buddhya jahati sa tivratara mumuksha. This is sloka number 231. Aneka rupaihi tribhihi tapaihi, by various kinds of threefold miseries. Trividha tapaihi. What is this? We know that miseries are of three kinds: adhidaivika, adhibhautika, and adhyatmika. All of you know that. So I am not going to describe this here. So these are three. One is through the nature, adhidaivika, like flood, earthquake, etc. Adhibhautika is through another creature, like say dog bite, snake bite, then murder, accidents, all those things. And adhyatmika, which relates to the sorrow or affliction because of one's own body, mind and intelligence. Mind and intelligence mostly. So three kinds of miseries we all have to suffer. Even if we escape the adhidaivika and adhibhautika, adhyatmika suffering, all of us, we suffer. So we are having these sufferings. Nityam santapyamanaha shubhitantaratma. So when we have suffering and afflictions, naturally we are afflicted. We are agitated, we are disturbed, depressed, unhappy, sorrowful, angry and whatnot. Shubhita antaratma. The mind is absolutely disturbed. So, considering that the life is like that, and the world brings in these miseries, so the mind starts thinking, is there any relief from this? Is there a state where I can, remaining in all this, I'll still remain unaffected? World will be like this. Waves of happiness and sorrow will keep on coming. Sometimes happiness, sometimes sorrow, sometimes failure, sometimes success. Sometimes there will be profit, sometimes there will be loss, sometimes there will be honor, sometimes dishonor, sometimes there will be praise, sometimes there will be only insult and criticism. The life will be like this. So the mind then starts thinking, for such a seeker, that life will be like this. Can there be a state remaining where I can remain unaffected by all this. Remaining in that state, I can still remain placid and blissful. Nothing will affect me. When he starts thinking like this, and he thinks intensely about it, he would like to know from anywhere, whosoever it is. So he will read the Shastras or go to Mahatmas, ask questions. So such an yearning is called Tibratara Mumuksha, where the Mumuksha has become such, yearning has become such, he is ready to leave everything. He doesn't find interest in anything else now. Maybe he will be doing everything, but his interest is to know how to go above this affliction. So he is ready to leave everything. He doesn't find interest in many things which he understands that all these things are perishable, ephemeral in life. Whatever I thought will give me happiness actually doesn't give happiness. At the end, it is only unhappiness. Whatever gives happiness, it is short-lived. And even if we get happiness for a little while, there is always a fear and anxiety whether I am going to lose this happiness. So the world is bringing in only this kind of emotions in our mind. So he is ready to leave everything and attain that state sincerely, wholesomely. That kind of an aspiration or yearning is called Tivratara Mumuksha. Then comes the second one. Tapatrayam Tibram Avekshya Vastu Drishtva Kalatram Tanayan Vihatum Madhye Dvayo Lodanamatmano Yat Saishagata Madhyamiki Mumuksha. This is Madhyama Mumuksha. This is mediocre Mumuksha. Let us see what it is. Tapatrayam Tibram Avekshya Vastu Drishtva Kalatram Tanayan Vihatum Madhye Dvayo Lodanamatmano Yat Saishamata Madhyamiki Mumuksha. Now, this one, the first seeker, he has Tivratara Mumuksha. He is ready to leave everything, give up everything, and he is ready to pursue this wholesomely to get that state. Then this Madhyama, he experiences this same kind of affliction in life. He is also seeing that life comes with waves, sometimes good, sometimes bad, favorable, unfavorable, is never constant. But experiencing all that and also knowing about the self, about the Supreme Self, that self-realization will give liberation. He knows that also. But he is not able to take any stand. Sometimes he pursues and rest of the time he goes into worldliness. I think most of the seekers are like that. Pursuing sometime and rest of the time worldliness. They are yet to find out that everywhere it is the self and self alone. Whatever we call worldliness also, all the work, all that we do, which we call worldliness, that also has the substratum as the self. They are yet to know that. So they feel sometimes attracted to listening, reading, contemplating, discussing, lecturing even, writing, and rest of the time they will pass in other matters, going into the world. What kind of worldliness? Worldliness which take them, whatever they have gathered, say the pursuit, whatever bliss it has given, whatever wholesomeness it has cultivated or developed, they simply lose it by chit-chatting, going to parties, going to movies, unnecessarily sitting and discussing unnecessary matters. So that is, they are not able to take a resolve that should I do this wholesomely or should I do the other. So they are the madhyamiki. They swing between the two. They like both. They like the spiritual pursuit also and they like the worldly pursuit also. So they are known to be having the madhyamiki mumuksha. Then the third, mokshasya kalosti kimadhyame tvara bhuktyaiva bhogan krita sarvakaryah mukyai yatishyeh matheti buddhihi eshaiva manda kathita mumuksha mokshasya kalosti kimadhyame tara bhuktyaiva bhogan krita sarvakaryah mukyai yatishyeh matheti buddhihi eshaiva manda kathita mumuksha. This one is this third type of moksha, which is also not so intense. Not only that, it is not even mediocre, it is absolutely manda, quite low. So what does this fellow think? Mokshasya sadhanaya kalaha asti. Oh, there is lot of time for me to pursue this. So what is the harm? Today I will go and chit-chat. Today I will sleep for a little while. Why do I meditate? Why do I listen to the lectures? Or why do I go to the sadhus association or Mahatmas association? Let me allow my mind to go here and there. There is lot of time to pursue sadhana. He thinks like that. Mokshasya sadhanaya kalaha asti. There is lot of time for sadhana. Me tvara kim? What is the hurry for me? There is lot of time. What is the hurry? Poor thing. Any time the body may fall. You know, there is a sloka in Bhagavatam. Labdhva sudurlabhamidam bahu sambhavante manushyam arthadam anityam apiha dhiraha turnam yateta na pateta manumrityu yavad nishreyasaya vishaya kalu sarvatasya. What does it mean? It says that labdhva sudurlabhamidam bahu sambhavante. After many, many years or many janmas, we have got manushyam, human body. And human body is anityam. See, we could have been born as insects, animals, reptiles, anything. But God has made us humans and has given us mind and intelligence, has given us the capacity and capability to think, to discriminate, to introspect and find out what is the supreme goal for us. What is our highest duty? What is the purpose of this life? He has given us all this. And though He has given this as to the humans, the human life is anityam. It is very short-lived. It doesn't stay. Also, arthadam. But through this human body only, we can know God or know the self. So, as long as we are living, we must make use of this body to know our own self, our real identity or God. It says, Turnam yateta na patet anumrityu yavat. So, once you know this, thus your life is for this. That once you have got a human body, you should not waste time. You should give your life, your time for the spiritual pursuit, devotional pursuit, to know God or to know self. And Turnam, that is immediately, yateta, strive. Anumrityu yavat. Because till your body falls, you must make this striving. You must strive. Also because Mrityu is following you. We do not know when the body will fall. It may be 1 day, 2 days, 7 days, 17 days, who knows? So as long as we are aware, we must strive in this path. So what is this fellow saying? There is a lot of time to pursue sadhana. Where is the hurry for me? So much time is there. So I will now enjoy, and after completing all my work and all my enjoyment, I will do some sadhana. Then I can think of making some effort. So this is manda mumuksha. So see, he knows everything, that what is the purpose of life, that there is a goal. The life is like this. The life is always giving us afflictions. Along with happiness, afflictions come. But he doesn't feel that he should have this yearning to go beyond it. Even if he sometimes have, even if somebody tells him, he feels that, oh, there is a lot of time. Why now? Let me enjoy first. Why take to all these disciplines? Let me enjoy. And another is the atimanda. That atimanda is, he is absolutely ignorant. Atimanda mumuksha has been described like, suppose somebody is walking on the road and finds either a gold ornament or maybe a jewel on his way. So he gets it. So he has got it without any effort. So this atimanda mumuksha person, people, they feel that I will be enjoying the life. In that process, if I get moksha, it is okay. I will be feeling very, very fulfilled. So he doesn't make any effort for that. So now, assessing our stages, we have to understand whether we are. Most of the seekers are in the mediocre state. Only very few, they become intense mumukshus. And then for them, nothing is interesting. They only, all the work they do, every pursuit they take up, whether they are in the household or not, their only aim is how to know the self. Now, antarbandhena baddhasya kim bahirbandha mochanaihi tadantarbandha muktyartham kriyatam kritibhi kritihi. So now we have understood that we have to become, our mumuksha has to be intense. Why did I take all these? Because we are in the process of understanding how to grow in Sattva Guna. My dear children, how will we grow Sattva Guna if we do not have mumuksha? What is mumuksha? That intensity to know something. And it is to know the Swarupa, our own real identity. And Sattva Guna is necessary to know the real identity. So don't think that two are disjointed concepts. One must become Sattva, must be having Sattva Guna, must grow in Sattva Guna, cultivate Sattva Guna, ultimately should become Vishuddha Sattva. Vishuddha Sattvasya Guna Prasadaha. When one becomes in the pinnacle of Sattva Guna, when Sattva Guna increases that much, pure Sattva, then the mind becomes placid. Swatmanubhutihi. And one has the realization of one's own self. So, this Sattva Guna, if we want to have or know how to increase in Sattva Guna, we must have a mumuksha, an yearning to grow in Sattva Guna. That is why I always say that we must love the process, love the pursuit. So here, if one wants to be having Sattva Guna, increase Sattva Guna, one must love this Sattva Guna and make effort. So here Shankaracharya is saying, Antarbandhena baddhasya kim bahirbandha mochanaihi Tadantar bandha muktyartham kriyatam kritivik kritihi. So now, the mumuksha is for what? To get liberated from all the shackles of the mind and intelligence. And ultimately we will see that it is to know oneself, understand what is the real self. That I am not the body, I am the self. Swaswarupa avabodhena. So swaswarupa avabodha. We must know ourselves. That ichha, that aspiration is called mumuksha. So this mumuksha should be there to get liberated from what? All the shackles. Now, this sloka is telling us, something very, very important. What is it? A person may think that I am having enough mumuksha and is also aspiring to have this mumuksha more and more, aspiring for liberation. And in that process, as I was explaining, many things which you liked earlier, your attraction for the worldliness, that also may reduce. Maybe you will find that you have withdrawn from many of the activities that you used to like earlier, many of the books that you liked to read, many of the places you wanted to go here and there, all those have reduced. That is, you are renouncing the outside bondages. Maybe somebody else the other day was telling me, we do not have much of interaction with our children also. Maybe. And we stay in our own manner. Children stay nearby, but they live their own life, we live our own life. And they are very spiritual people. So maybe that is, you are withdrawing from your social contacts, family contacts also maybe. Maybe food you have simplified, your way of living you have simplified. You are getting more and more time to read and contemplate, listen and meditate. All this you are doing. This sloka, what does it say? That one who is bound, till one is liberated, till one has moksha, everybody is bound by the shackles of the mind and intelligence. For that person, that seeker who is seeking liberation from all the bondages, Bahirbandha mochanaihi kim. What is the use of renouncing external objects? Maybe earlier one was very much interested in buying various items, maybe dresses, jewelries, articles in the house, so many things which we feel that are objects of our enjoyment. Now the mind has reduced all that, doesn't want to do that. So it says, what is the use of renouncing external objects? What has to be done by those learned seekers is antarbandha muktyartham kritihi kriyatam. One has to spend time, make effort to renounce the antarbandhana, the bondages of the mind and intelligence. Do you understand? This outside things we may live now a very simple life. Everything we have reduced. Maybe earlier we used to go to various places, weddings, parties, visiting people's houses, many other things. As it happens in everybody's life, So, all those have reduced, maybe slowly, and we don't find any interest. But antarbandhana, what are the antarbandhana? All the tendencies of one's own. So the voice is troubling. So all the tendencies of one's own mind and intelligence. What are the tendencies? Intolerance, impatience, anger, irritation, hatred. All these things we are constantly facing in our lives. I think these are the things which agitate us, disturb us, take away our peace. We keep on thinking about the past, keep on thinking about the future, keep on thinking about imaginary things, get afraid. All these are shackles of mind and intelligence. We are undecided, confused at times, and we hold on to our views. We are possessive with our family, our children, our savings, our qualifications, our post, prestige, name, fame. Not only that, we constantly hold on to our views, the views that we have. We are not able to leave our views, hold on to our views, and we get either upset or annoyed if our views are not taken up. And there will be a lot of difference of opinion if there is another person with another viewpoint. These are antarbandhana. And ultimately it is considering this body, mind and intelligence to be I. That I-ness and mindness. So this antarbandha muktyartham kritihi kriyatam. Effort should be made. You may leave your outside bondages, become very simple. So that is why even for sannyasis, the change of dress doesn't mean anything. That is not a tyaga. It just tells others that this person has taken to sannyasa, so wholesomely, not taking up any kind of profession, this person is now going to pursue this path of spirituality wholesomely. The dress shows only that. But what about the inside? The tyaga has to come from inside. And that tyaga, whether it is a sannyasi or any householder or anybody, a child, it is the mind and intelligence. All the traits of the mind has to be purified, has to be completely, the mind and intelligence have to become placid. So, antarbandha muktyartham kritihi kriyatam. Effort should be made to renounce shackle of the mind. Kriti pariyavasanaiva mata tivra mamukshuta anyatu ranjana matra yatra no drishyate kritihi. My dear children, I don't know how you take to these slokas. You know, when I read this, it gives me so much of enlightenment, so much to think about. Oh, so much of subtlety is there in this. We constantly think, oh, I am living, I have become like this, I have become like this, I know this, I know that. But if I am a seeker, if I'm a spiritual person, this antarbandhana should be renounced. Constantly we have to think, why did I talk like this? Why did I feel like this? Why did I behave like this? Because of what desire? Because of what clinging? Because of what possessiveness? Or because of what fear? Why my mind is not placid so far? In spite of constantly for years pursuing this path, remaining in the association of Mahatmas, why is it that my mind is not placid? Why is it still restless? Why is it still fearful? Why is it still disturbed by many things? So here comes, those are the antarbandhana, and we must know how to remove them. So this sloka is saying, Kriti paryavasanaiva mata tivra mumukshuta. The previous one was 247, Sarva Vedanta Siddhanta Sara Sangrahah. And this one is 248. It says, Anyatu ranjana matra yatra no drishyate kritihi. Kriti paryavasanaiva mata tivra mumukshuta. Anyatu ranjana matra yatra no drishyate kritihi. So, this one is saying that if somebody has mumukshuta, intense yearning for moksha, mumukshuta, somebody has mumukshuta, we should always see, reading this sloka, we should analyze oneself, assess oneself. Do I have mumukshuta? Is it tivra? Because it says, Kriti paryavasanaiva mata tivra mumukshuta. Tivra mumukshuta, Kriti paryavasana mata. That is, if you are having intensity for moksha, yearning for moksha, it will result in your effort to pursue, effort to know the self, effort to become sincere, wholesome. Yatra kritihi na drishyate. If effort is not seen, then sa anyatu ranjana matra. If effort is not seen, then that moksha is a simple liking for moksha, liking for liberation, liking for the word, nothing else. Do you get it? So, the one who is a seeker, how will we know that he is a mumukshu seeker? Or just, it is an occupation, it is a liking for this path. Are you a seeker with mumukshuta? Or are you a seeker because you like it? From many things, compared to many other things, you like this one. Compared to many subjects, I liked physics, so I read physics. Is it like that for you? Or is your whole life is becoming an effort, a striving to reach that end point, to love that? The whole life becomes full only with this yearning that I want to know. I want to know what? I want to know myself, my real identity. I want to know God. I want to know this whole thing as a presence. So many things we hear, so many things we read. How much effort do we do to get absorbed into what we read and what we hear, what we like to hear, but which gives us bliss at least for that moment? How much effort do we do to see God everywhere, looking at everything? Whatever we do we ever think that nothing belongs to me? I belong to God. Everything that He has given me, The place where I stand, place where I stay, my whole body, my limbs, my senses, my mind, intelligence, my ego, all my actions, all my emotions, all my sentiments, all the situations in my life, whether I like it or not, everything is created by Him, it is coming from Him, and it is He Himself. Aham sarvasya prabhavaha, matta sarvam pravartate. Krishna has told, from me alone everything has come out, created. Every action is through me alone. We don't remember these things. When we work, we feel that I have done. I have done very well. If somebody praises, we feel that, oh, I have been praised. If we are sick, then we feel, oh, I am sick. God has given this sickness to me. But we don't see that God everywhere. How to live with that feeling? It is only so simple. Whenever we get time, whenever we have to do a lot of work, when we are doing work, definitely our mind will be engaged in that work. But in between, for a little second, little moment, flash of a second, we can think, exactly when we are aware, think all these things. Think about Brahman, think about self. So it says, Kriti parayavasanaiva mata tivra mumukshuta anyatu ranjana matra yatra no drishyate kritihi. When effort is not being seen, it is only simple manoranjana. You are feeling happy, thinking of moksha, thinking of something, a big state, thinking that, oh, we are very spiritual. People even become very proud and egoistic by thinking that I am spiritual. My family people are not. My husband is not. My wife is not. So that becomes only liking of the word, ranjana matra. So effort has to be given. I think it is good to know that to have this Sattva Guna also, effort has to be given. But as I always say, that effort should not be with a burden, with pressure. Effort should be very lovable. We should love to do that effort. As we do for anything, if we have to eat also, we have to go to the market, buy vegetables, come back, tired, and then cook the thing. After cooking also, we have to take it in the mouth. That is an effort. In the mouth also, we have to make an effort to chew it and then make it an effort to gulp it. So there is a question of, no question of not making effort. So effort has to be made. So I felt that on and off, this mokshuta and all that, sadhana chatushtayam we have all done many times. I think it is on and off very, very essential to remind us that these are the things necessary for any seeker. Otherwise it is a manoranjana matram. What are the things? Sadhana chatushtaya we have done. Nitya nitya vastu vivekaha, ihamutra phala bhoga viragaha, shamadamadi shatka sampattihi, and mumuksha. Moksha is the spine. Unless moksha is there, we cannot progress. Vairagya should be there, viveka should be there, and along with the qualities should be there. Now see, so I have done that. After that shloka, tato mumukshur bhavabandha mukti, I came from there. That shloka was number 362, Sarva Vedanta Siddhanta Sara Sangrahah. Tato mukshur bhavabandha muktयै rajastamobhyam cha tadiya karyehi viyojya chittam parishuddha sattvam priyam prayatnena sadaiva kuryat. This was the shloka which I did last session. For seeker of liberation, one should isolate himself from the effects of rajas and tamas and their actions, and he should make effort, prayatnena, parishuddha sattvam priyam kuryat. Do everything which will develop or cultivate sattva guna. Now the next shloka, Shankaracharya is saying, Garbhavasajani pranashana jara vyadhyadishu praninam yad dukkham paridrishyate cha narake tacchintayitva muhuhu doshaneva vilokya sarva vishayeshu asham vimuchyabhitaha chittagranthi vimochanaya sumatihi sattvam samalambatam. Garbhavasajani pranashana jara vyadhyadishu praninam yad dukkham paridrishyate cha narake tacchintayitva muhuhu doshaneva vilokya sarva vishayeshvasham vimuchyabhitaha chittagranthi vimochanaya sumatihi sattvam samalambatam. This is 363 number shloka. This is coming under the heading Chitta Prasada. Don't forget. Actually, this book is very good. Generally, it is not taken. So I am reading from here and there. I have been reading it for quite some time. So certain slokas are very good. So this sloka says, Praninam garbhavasa jani pranashana jara vyadhyadishucha. Praninam means for all humans, all creatures. Garbhavasa, when one is in the womb of the mother. Then jani, that is janma, the birth. Pranashana, mrityu, death. Jara, old age. Vyadhi adishu. Vyadhi is disease. Adi means etc. So in all this, narake yat dukkham paridrishyate. All these are, and also in the naraka, if you consider rebirth and all that, the drishya in the hell, in naraka, suppose you go to hell, in all this there is dukkha. For any creature, garbhavasa, the fetus will be inside the mother's womb, and it is said that it is in so much of phlegm, then blood and all that, when it comes out with so much of pain and smeared with so much of dirty things. Then the janma also, the birth is like this. For the birth also, the little baby has to undergo a lot of pain, though the baby is not understanding. But if you consider the birth of others, it gives happiness, but it gives anxiety also. As the child takes birth, anxiety also takes birth in the minds of the parents and others. Suppose the child dies, suppose the child is not normal. As the child will grow, you will understand sometimes that the child is not normal. So all this fear will be there associated with the birth of a child. Then mrityu is always the mrityu bhaya. How the death will be, nobody knows. Whether one will suffer, what kind of death will be, everybody is fearful about that. And whether there will be good treatment, when the body is sick, diseased, and going towards death, whether there will be anybody to look after, whether there will be doctors to see, how much time one will have to suffer suffer in the body during, just before death. All these things people feel, people also constantly think about that, as old people especially, and there are many who are very, very fearful about that. Another fear is that when one grows old is jara, that whether there will be people to look after. When we grow old, we are not able to do many things. All that we could do in our young days, we are not able to. We are not able to bend, we are not able to walk, we are not able to see properly, hear properly. Eating becomes a problem, nothing will be tasty anymore. And whether there will be people to look after us. Those who look after us, sometimes they will not be very kind. They may say, harsh words to you. So all these are fear in the mind. And fear comes from what? Dukkha, vyadhyaji and vyadhi. Vyadhi disease, of course, everybody is having lot of fear and anxiety. And when one is sick, one has to undergo lot of sorrow and suffering. So it says, for all humans, they experience all these dukkhas. Dukkham yat dukkham paridrishyate. This one cannot escape. All these dukkhas will be there. All these sufferings and unhappiness will be there. Tat mohoho chintayitva. What one should do? Mind and intelligence has been given by God. So, this shloka is saying, Tat mohoho chintayitva, contemplating about these again and again, that the life is not all very beautiful and nice. We may be having, maybe we have not encountered any kind of sorrow, but as the body ages, old age comes, disease comes, at least that dukkha will be there for everybody, inevitable. Some people, they have a lot of dukkha throughout their lives. Some escape and their whole life will be very smooth. But what about when they grow old? This disease and death will be there. So one must keep on thinking that this life is ephemeral, this life is not, we cannot hold on to only happiness. Tat mohoho chintayitva, contemplating about this again and again, doshan eva vilokya. We must see the evil in these. Even if some things give us happiness for a while, say one is in a profession where he is highest, lot of happiness, lot of prestige, will it remain? So, while you are there, you must think about it, that I should not be feeling that I am such and such person. I should not be egoistic, I should not have pride, I should behave with others with lot of humility. Because of my post, I should not be proud. So all these things, one should moho chintayitva. Why should we think? Because all these are ephemeral. The life is ephemeral, life is transitory, life is constantly in the circle of happiness and unhappiness. Doshan eva vilokya, and find out that it has these defects. Even the periods of happiness, ultimately it gives us anxiety and fear of losing it. So this is the defect of those moments. Then, sarva vishayeshu asham vimuchya. You will be able to do this. How? Understanding that we are getting these kind of sufferings not only through this, also because of our desires. Whatever our senses are engaging with, interacting with, everything we want, our desires, our possessiveness, our clinging to the objects, clinging to the situations, clinging to the viewpoints, all these things, clinging to our family. Sarva vishayeshu asham vimuchya. So what this sloka is telling us to do? That is telling us to do that this is the life. Constantly think about it. Don't simply keep your eyes closed and feel that, oh, this is something very good happening. Everything will pass off. Dukkha will come. So see the defects in everything and also remove your desires and possessiveness and clinging. Doing so, if you are an intelligent seeker, sumatihi, if you are a sumatihi, then sattvam samalambatam. Take to sattva guna alone. Why? Abhitaha chitta granthi vimochanaya. Why should you take to sattva guna? Because by taking to sattva guna, cultivating sattva guna, what will happen is your mind will become placid, self will be revealed, and all these shackles of the mind, desires, possessiveness, clinging, etc., all that will be removed. So Sattva, this sloka also is highlighting the necessity to grow in Sattva Guna. It is saying that see to it, see your life. The life is like that. Right from your remaining in the as a fetus in the mother's womb, then the birth, then death also comes. In between there is old age, there is disease, which give lot of dukkha. All these things you must introspect on, think upon, and see the defects in this life. Also, in everything, whatever desires are there, desire, lobha, moha, kama, all those things, everything, the desires, clinging, etc., which give you suffering. Because of the desires we suffer. We know that very well. If we do not get whatever we desire, we are upset. If we get whatever we desire, we are anxious that we lose it. So where is the sukha? So all these things you remove, and being an intelligent seeker, if you are intelligent, then take to Sattva Guna, increase your Sattva Guna, and that will help you in getting liberated from all the knots of the mind, that is all the tendencies of the mind which bring suffering. Vyagriva tishtati jara paritarjayanti rogascha shatrava eva praharanti deham ayuh parisravati bhinna ghatadivambho lokastathaapyahitam acharati iti chitram. This is from Vairagya Shatakam. My dear children, when I was reading this, I was reading this sloka, and I am feeling that our Shastras, how many times they are telling us about moksha. Here it is telling what? See, in this sloka, it has told us about Vairagya. It says that, think of the life. A human being has to be as a fetus in the mother's womb, and not very pleasant. Then the birth is not pleasant. Death is all the more not pleasant. In between old age and disease, all give dukkha. Now, tata tat moho chintayitva. Think about these. By thinking, what are they going to generate in us? Dispassion. Dispassion to the world. Dispassion doesn't mean that we have to go to the forest and take up sannyasa and all that. Dispassion is telling us that the life is ephemeral. Do not get attached to it. Do not cling to it. Do not do this I, my. This is mine, this is mine, this is mine, and try to hold on to things. It is trying to, in these two lines, Garbhavasa Jani Pranashana Jara Vyadhyadishu Praninam Yad Dukkham Paridrishyate Chanarake Tat Chintayitva Muhu. In these two lines, what is Shankaracharya trying to tell us? Have Vairagya for life. Vairagya raga rasiko bhava bhakti nishtaha. Dehe sthimam sarudhire abhimatim tyajatvam jaya sutadishu sada mamatam vimuncha pashyanisham jagadidam shanabhanga nishtam vairagya raga rasiko bhava bhakti nishtaha. Vairagya, just the word vairagya. My dear children, we are bound by so many things. Just the body and all that belongs to us, thinking that these are mine. We just hold on to them. Not only the people, everything we hold on to. So what is this shloka saying? This is from Bhagavatam, you all know it. Dehestimam sarudhure abhimatim tyajatvam. We are constantly holding on to our body. This is my body, this is I. And all the other bodies are mine. They belong to me. But what are they made of? Deha is made of asti, mamsa, rudhira. Flesh, bone and blood. Suppose somebody keeps flesh, bone and blood on the road and you are walking and you are about to step on them. What will you do? You will simply jump and avoid it. Suppose you happen to step on them, you will immediately go and wash your feet. Do you want to handle those things? So it is saying, Dehestimam sarudhire abhimatim tyajatvam. Don't get attached. Abhimatim, the attachment to these are actually, basically they are made of these things. Tyajatvam, tyaja. Renounce. This I-ness and my-ness, aham and mama, it is so deep, ingrained in us. So tyaja. Jaya sutadishu sada mamatam vimuncha. The mamata, that these are mine. My wife, my children, my house, my wealth, all these things. My. Mamatam vimuncha. The mamata, that these are mine, vimuncha, cut. You are tied with them like with rope. Cut that rope. Pashyanisham jagadidam shanabhanga nishtam. See this jagat. Shanabhanga nishtam. The jagat is constantly changing. Samsarati iti samsaraha. That samsaraha, the word is samsaraha, jagat. It is always moving. Every moment is different from the other one, the previous one. It is always changing. It never is the same. Pashya anisham. See. Always. Jagat idam jagat shanabhanga nishtam. In every moment it is breaking or changing. So what are we supposed to do? Vairagya raga rasiko bhava bhakti nishtaha. Become Vairagya raga rasika. That you be a lover of Vairagya raga. Be a lover of not the worldliness, not your family, not what the world is giving you, only dukkha. Be a lover of Vairagya. What is that Vairagya? That Vairagya is absence of possessiveness, absence of desire, absence of clinging. Bhava bhakti nishtha. And let your nishtha, your whole focus be on bhakti. What is bhakti? In devotional text, bhakti is for God. To love God, bhakti. And to have the true bhakti, where you do not want anything from God. I don't want anything from you, O God. I just want to love you. I just want to have devotion for you. I do not even want mukti. The greatest of devotees say that. And in Vedanta, what it is? It is Swaswarupa. What is this? I am not getting the line. It says that to know oneself, to have the intention and the aspiration to know oneself, that is called bhakti. That is called bhakti. That is the total dedication to know oneself. Unless you have that love to know the self, the devotion to know the self, how will you know? If you do not have love for God, how will you have bhakti? So that love, that is called in Vedanta bhakti. Bhaktiritya vidhiyate. So it says this. So this, in these two words, it has told us what is vairagya. And then it says, doshaneva vilokya sarva visheshu asham vimuchyabhitaha. And also see the dosha or the defect in everything and remove your desires and take to Sattva Guna. So it is telling us about vairagya, and by how do we get to this vairagya? Tat muhuhu chintayitva. By thinking. By what do we think? Our intelligence. So what it is trying to tell us? Do vichara. Have viveka. Nitya nitya vastu viveka. What is nitya? The self. What is anitya? All this. Your garbhavasa, janma, marana, jara, vyadhi, all this. Your desires, your clingings, all these are anitya. And what is nitya? The self. So have viveka about atma and anatma. See, we have gone back to sadhana chatushtaya. So in this, he is explaining that through this sloka and telling us to have self-realization, Sattva Guna has to be developed, cultivated. But with the help of what? Vairagya, Viveka, Mumuksha, and definitely Shamadamadi Shatka Sampatti. To grow in Sattva Guna will come in those qualities only. So we will do it next time. Garbhavasa jani pranashana jara vyadhyadishu praninam yad dukkham paridrishyate cha narake tacchintayitva muhu doshaneva vilokya sarva vishayeshvasham vimuchyabhitaha chittagranthi vimochanaya sumatihi Sattvam samalambatam Garbhavasa jani pranashana jara vyadhyadishu praninam yad dukkham paridrishyate cha narake tacchintayitva muhu doshaneva vilokya sarva vishayeshvasham vimuchyabhitaha chittagranthi vimochanaya sumatihi Sattvam samalambatam. I have come across very beautiful slokas in this and also in Vairagya Shatakam. So we will be discussing all that. And it gives lot of bliss. Sampurnam jagadeva nandanavanam sarvepi kalpadrumaha gangam vari samasta vari nivaha punyas samasta kriyaha vacha prakrita samskrita shruti shiro varanasi medini sarvavasthitirasya vastu vishaya drishte परब्रह्मणि सर्वावस्थितिरस्य वस्तु विषया दृष्टि परब्रह्मणि। जय गुरु, जय गुरु।